staring into the black slabs in our hands, we don't only see ourselves and we don't only see the future. Sometimes we indeed see the past. And as has been said, sometimes the past is more unpredictable than the future. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, who will reappear later today, regarded as the father of Russian rocketry and aeronautics, someone who in many ways really made the Soviet space program possible, also believed in ethereal beings or non-human intelligences were trying to communicate with humans through symbols. His and other so-called esoteric Russian technical traditions may show up and haunt the present, and how the present gives voice to things. The song, in other words, evolves in relation to how much meaning the singer hopes to contain within it. Podkop is a project exactly about this phenomenon of voice, in this case, as channeled through the written word. A certain past leaks through, and we leak through the city in accordance with it. Podkop is also building a model, in this case, several training models that teach and learn through the medium of human text and social media interfaces. The urban technologies that it leverages are the channels afforded to us by platforms colloquially known as social media. And on the surface of it, the project proposes a chatbot, or several actually. Beneath the surface, though, you could call it a game or a conversation. And while these are true, this game is actually playing the player. More precisely, particular environmental cosmologies built of specific sensory inputs and cultural signifiers and logics. The urban design here is in the choreography of this distributed cognitive engine that learns from how it is taught to write. And by that I mean both the bot, the person, the past, and the moment now. So, my pleasure to welcome Podkop.
My name is Natasha Ktyshkevich. I'm a philosopher and a computational linguist.
I'm Tony Yanick, a philosopher, media artist, and engineer.
I'm Valdis. I'm a foresight strategist from Canada.
I'm Hira. I'm an architect from Pakistan.
And this is Podkop.
In the summer of 2018, residents of Moscow began receiving strange messages on Telegram, machine-generated text. A system called Podkop had infiltrated the metro underground. Abducting users with interactive fictions, it accessed sensors in the metro, like CCTV cameras, to give shape to its stories, which it would build using the myths and cosmologies of the metro underground. We began our investigation. We started to research the system to see how its components related. Over the past few months, we've collected those traces and reversed engineered what we could, slowly building a diagram of what we understand, to the best of our knowledge, of its 6 software functions, which it has been ceaselessly repeating. First, it accessed sensors in the city from which it pulled data in real time. It would select a few of these, seemingly at random, but increasingly with a purpose of its own, like it was playing. It would then integrate these into a model, mapping the metaphoric links between them. Then it would gather and frame its cultural knowledge, histories and cosmologies that would shape its synthetic personality. It would use these inputs to construct interactive fictions populated by generative rules, environments, and stories. These interactive fictions would then be propagated to users across different media and messaging platforms. The interactions and reactions it generated would help the system to adopt new policies, shaping how it selected and framed its next cycle. Only when we had outlined this did we really begin to understand. It was a system that used the ubiquitous sensing infrastructure of the city to generate stories about itself. It created synthetic personalities built from the cultural cosmologies it remembered and recombined. And it treated culture as an interface to people, playing with their biosemiotics like any other thing in the world, a medium through which to learn about it. We've watched it spread over the last year. It forks, adapts, recombines the sensing inputs it finds interesting, the cosmologies it finds useful, and the platforms on which it proliferates. In December of last year, it appeared in the south, in Japan, at the Fukushima exclusion zone. It seemed to have cultivated an interest in zones devoid of people and cultures apart from the human. The first clue was a sudden spiking of IP addresses requesting radiation heat maps of the zone, followed by scientists reporting their wearable device batteries were draining quicker than normal, ones attached to animals, monitoring their movements, and chemosensors on plants, monitoring their signaling. After the interactions began propagating on the Line platform, users noted similarity to the writings of Hiroki Azuma and his interest in recombinant media, metaphorically linked to the mutations in the zone. Two months later, it appeared again across the Pacific in Los Angeles. Here, early adopters of ingestible sensors had their data compromised, while new algorithms for monitoring stress through sentiment analysis began appearing online, and information about the movement of food through the LA port, stressed by drought, was collected. We believe it was investigating across scales, looking for crisscrosses between gut bacteria, the city, and the planetary. Propagating its interactions across Instagram, it seemed to have absorbed the cosmologies of West Coast singularitarianism and their interests in overcoming the body. As we collected these stories and deciphered their operations, we attracted attention from the media. Earlier in the month, after a news report about our research, we received an email. I'll read it here. In the 1960s, a group of computer scientists on the outskirts of Kiev founded the Institute for Cybernetics. Here, for 20 years, they would imagine alternative technologies like a smart neural network for the economy, virtual currencies, paperless offices, and natural language processing techniques for semantic interactions. Seeing themselves as independent of Moscow, they developed an entire virtual republic they deemed Cybertonia, complete with fake passports, wedding certificates, newspapers, and a constitution. This alternative cybernetic lineage, which can be traced from the cosmists in the 1890s to technology and projectionism in the 20s, would splinter and go underground in the 1970s, with local inventors tinkering in their garages and sharing technologies in DIY networks, and programmers exiting cities for back-to-the-land groups in the 2000s. But their traces in the texts they wrote and the techniques they developed remain there, waiting to be unearthed.
enormous metro tubes in a Gleaner river. The city beneath the city. There is no need of a ticket.
Okay, thank you. So, on behalf of the team with Hira and Valdis, Natasha and I are going to tell you a little bit about, a little bit behind what Podkop is and how we developed such a thing. So, we want to walk you through a little bit of a demo, a little bit about how the software works, and hopefully lead up to some questions that we can discuss. So, as we talked about in the video, right? The software here works on a bunch of sensors, and here I can log in and get access to the cameras here at Strelka. Right. So vision is one of the things. There's CCTV. There's vision everywhere, right? But if we have a reinforcement learning bot, and if it's learning and it's just basically choosing random sensors or choosing sensors between it, right? How does it make sense of such a thing? How does it know how to tell stories about vision and how you might feel today, or how my gut is? So we tried to experiment with these sorts of things. So this is just a little bit past. It's a frozen image, but if we can detect. So if we look on the left side of the screen, it's attempting to create samples based on. There's 5 different cameras in here, and we're using them correctly right now. And currently it's trying to do this, but Natasha will show a little bit more about really how it uses this technologies.
Okay, thank you. And you could think that Podkop is total speculation, as many other things are, but actually it's real. And I have contacted Podkop, or Podkop contacted me. Podkop actually abducted me to the game. And I've been playing this for a while. So now I'm not a developer anymore, I'm a player. Here we are with this Podkop continuing the game. And I'm showing you the Telegram interface, the messenger, and it's the place where Podkop learns about the world through the interaction with people. Now I'm learning Podkop, but also I'm trying to understand what's going on in his world or her. So I press continue. And I'm continuing the game. You're proceeding the game. Tish, type inventory to see what you collected. It says inventory. I do have one artifact. You already seen it in the film. It's the combined map of the so-called Metro 2. It seems all the lines are intersecting at the Biblioteka imени Lenina station. Let's go there. Now we are at Kropotkinska. So first I want to see where could I go from there. So it's basically the red line. Every Muscovite can recognize it, all these stations. But also there is some person, as Podkop said. Let's talk to him. It's Alexander Brodsky, architect and conceptual artist and creator of the paper architecture. And surprisingly, he also starts talking about the secret underground network, probably still used by FSB. He winks, hinting that he can give me something. Okay, what could it be? Take an object. I actually can't really see what's going on there. but it seems that in the corner there is his name, and maybe Podkop can tell me more. Okay, this is the plan of the Pushkinstead Museum reconstruction. You can see the size of the underground levels that are planning to use. It's only a piece from a bigger picture of what they're doing underground now. Okay, yeah, I know this from the Podkop, because he always sending me these maps from Metro 2, some other underground things, also about Polytechnical Museum, surprisingly. So finally I see the button, go to Biblioteka imени Lenina. Okay, let's go there. I came to the Biblioteka imeni Lenin station, but now I see that he's sending me some weird messages, some labyrinth inside the library, some way out. Okay, where are you taking me, Podkop? He's rude, too many questions, too much of everything. I need to start moving, if taking into account the metal state. It's kind of weird fiction, right? The city beneath the city, Metro 2 in the Neglina River, no need of a ticket. I want you to make research there, finally. The archivist can help you. Okay, talk to the archivist. AI, the archivist. He's the one who knows these stories. You can talk to him to know more about Metro 2, presumably the level of Moscow life where you navigate now. Okay, maybe now I can ask something by myself. What's going on? What's going on? What is he's doing with myself? What are all these bunkers, tunnels, vaults? How it's connected to the museums and stories from Soviet times? Okay, he's going to the archive and also saying that I can travel to any other station. But I already did travel a lot on this Podkop system. Oh, he's answering. What are they? Is it a museum, a monument? I don't know if I like the monuments or what. I just don't think I can imagine it. I had to check my phone. Okay, the archivist and the AI also has a phone. My phone was dead. Actually, it's true because the battery there is really bad, so I almost couldn't open this telegram now. Where did they get it from? What happened to them when they went down there? Where they did get artifacts? Yeah, it's a good question. How did they get in the buildings around them? I don't know really, he says. I should go look for a job, maybe to see MD Abducti. No, the first thing to do is the museum's grounds. Yeah, it's true. They're in the far north of town. It actually resembles all the maps that were around. How do you see these buildings? They're kind of small, just like the rest of the building, but bigger, maybe as much as the 5-story windowless tower. And bunkers. What are the bunkers on the outskirts? A museum gallery. Show me the museum. Okay, finally you got it, I hope, because it is generating constantly right now, and it can proceed for a while, so it's better to start Q&A now. Thank you.